Who didn't think that Joshua Dobbs wouldn't be a positive story when he moved teams? I thought he'd be a positive story just because, in general, he's a positive story. But Caleb Calhoun talked about how his newest destination was a perfect one for him. And Caleb, if you can kind of look back at that and then what he did on a Sunday was absolutely fantastic, maybe even unprecedented in the modern era of NFL football. He didn't know some of his receivers' names. He hadn't been to a single practice, and he went out there and did what, Caleb?
Josh Dobbs went out there and threw a game-winning led a game-winning touchdown drive, threw a game-winning touchdown pass to beat the Falcons on Sunday in what is honestly one of the most impressive performances, I'm just going to say it, in the history of the NFL for a quarterback. So let's break down what happened. Arizona traded Josh Dobbs middle of last week. I said he's going to a great situation because Kirk Cousins was hurt and Arizona actually has good talent and good coaching. Arizona traded Josh. Then Arizona decided they weren't going to start Kyler Murray, which made it very clear to me the reason they traded Josh Dobbs is they were worried he was going to win them too many games down the stretch to knock them out of the number one pick. But we didn't expect Josh Dobbs.
It was almost like Major League. You remember Major League? They were dying to lose. So when Dobbs got picked there, I thought to myself, well, if they want to make anything out of what they've got going this year, that's good. But then when they showed they just truly wanted to tank. By the way, the guy they've got now, Kyler Murray, has it in his contract that he has to watch film for 2 hours a day.
That the video gaming can't count as a film.
Right. So Joshua Dobbs, I thought there might be a chance he would go there and they'd say, hey, this is our guy. We're not that bad. But they didn't do that. They didn't want to do that. He was too good. They wanted to lose games.
Yeah, exactly. And he was playing with nothing around him because they wanted to lose. So they sent him to Minnesota, middle of the week. I say good situation. We didn't expect him to start this week because he gets there, Dave. He's traded on a Tuesday. He probably isn't in Minnesota till a Thursday, right? Like, you got to fly to Minnesota. So he's probably not there till a Thursday. He probably gets the playbook on that Thursday. You know they're going to start Jaren Hall on Sunday. So the whole concept is, all right, let Josh Dobbs run the playbook for a week, and then we can start him. Jaren Hall gets hurt. Josh Dobbs is thrown in an impossible situation. Doesn't know his receivers' names. Maybe had looked at the playbook had 3 to 4 days to look at the playbook. Goes out there, completes 20 or 30 passes for 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also runs it 7 times for 66 yards and a touchdown. There was a game-winning touchdown pass. Here's what this tells me more than anything. Josh Dobbs got that playbook and he studied it relentlessly. I think there's an issue nowadays, Dave, with a lot of quarterbacks who don't study film in the playbooks the way they should, like the Peyton Manning of 8 hours. It's very clear Josh Dobbs was knee-deep buried in that playbook the minute he got it on Thursday or whatever.
Totally agree.
And how can you not respect a guy with that type of... He has baseline arm strength. He's athletic, which is an extra bonus. He's smart, and he's got a work ethic that I think he's got an unrivaled work ethic in the NFL.
Let's take out all the guys that contributed to a 98 national championship, which the last one is probably Travis Stevens in 2001. A guy that played a major part in 98. And so Travis Stevens is probably the last one who had a major effect on that team. Is that fair? So let's say who's the most beloved player since 2002, or who should be? Is it Josh Dobbs? I want to ask you on the message board. Fill it out, because who is your favorite? I will say that mine's obviously Eric Berry, okay, because I didn't cover a mature individual like him anywhere close to that. But I'll give you a couple of surprise ones. Alvin Kamara always had a smile on his face, was the opposite of a transfer type guy that usually had an attitude. So they're right up there. But as far as most beloved Vol, who do you think's out there, Caleb Calhoun? Because
Eric Berry's a good one. You know, it's weird because I go back to him, but I will say, because it was the 2002 era, because he technically didn't play on the 98 national title team, I still put John Henderson in there in 2001 because he wasn't on the 98 team. And Henderson, unlike Berry, did come back for a senior season and threw away millions of dollars to come back because he just wanted to play at Tennessee for another year. And I'm not knocking Berry on that. Go get your money. And I know there were some family financial situations at the time for Eric Berry that he had to deal with. So I have no problems with him going to the NFL. But I'm saying that is an extra bonus for a John Henderson to me.
I think he was
I
also in a hurry to start some fundraising things, which he has done in both Kansas City and the Chattanooga area. I'm sorry, not the Chattanooga area, the Griffin, Georgia area. So he's got a couple of parks there for kids. I think there's a lot of things he wanted to do. I'm not familiar with the possible family financial issues, but I do think it was time for him to go. He didn't need to risk
yeah.
with the injuries he already had, which was a torn ACL, to think about going to the NFL.
Yeah. I think his parents had gotten wrecked by the '08 crash, the '08 recession, where they were one of many, many victims. There's no shame in that. There were a lot of victims from that 2008 crash. And so but yeah, Eric Berry still is very high up. Josh Dobbs is there though. Like Josh Dobbs is, and I think Josh Dobbs has become more beloved over time because I think his NFL story is so great, Dave. Think about it. We're talking about a guy who was a 6-7 year journeyman. Now, honestly, if you think about it, if you're a journeyman quarterback in the NFL, it's not a bad job. You're just taking NFL money. You know what I mean? You're just
not a bad job.
Yeah. But the thing that you realize with Josh Dobbs is he willingly accepted his role as a journeyman and he worked his tail off and he clearly was ready to go whenever his number was called. He's won a game with 2 different teams this year as a starter. He has started for 4 different teams within a year now. And this is a guy, again, I call him the anti-Tyler Bray, who I thought had the most raw, best physical tools of anybody ever coming out of Tennessee to play quarterback in the NFL and just did not care. Also a journeyman. Tyler Bray was a journeyman because he didn't care. Dobbs was a journeyman because Dobbs is a guy, Dave, you just want on your team, don't you? Even if he's a backup.
Okay, now we got some votes on our. Yes, I vote for you. I think that's why he's gotten so many second chances. Is he's a positive influence on the locker room. Rocky Top Tom says my most beloved Vol 100% is Al Wilson. Well, that's why he's on the front of my book. But
oh my gosh, did you guys not listen to the non-98 part? Like
nobody that participated to the 98 national championship. Then the next one, Vols time. I love you, but you said Peerless Price.
Again, 98.
Yes, I'd say you contributed. But then Cody Hayes brings up the best point. And he says there's obviously a reason that he's been all around the NFL. Some places more than once. He's definitely a positive influence to have around your organization. So you call people and you're a GM and you're like, we'd like to bring this guy in, but we don't want him to create any sort of waves because he's the quarterback. And you might even be saying he's one of 2 things. He's going to sit behind this dude, or he's going to hopefully lose enough games for us to get Caleb Williams. So either or, whichever the case may be, he's put into a difficult situation. But you know what every GM says that you call? He'll do it for you. He is absolutely your guy, a team guy. He'll do whatever you need, except for lose on purpose, which is, I think, is what the Cardinals want him to do.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs is not a team guy because he didn't lose guys. I mean, and I think that's actually helped him more in the NFL because, Dave, I got to be honest with you. I don't think not only was he held back by playing in Butch Jones's system for a long time, but I think he was held back in the sense of, you talk about this. Coaches have to be careful about who they do or don't talk up to NFL scouts and GMs, right? And they have to play that right. Do you have any doubt in your mind that Butch Jones did not play that right at all, and that scouts and GMs have no faith in what he said, period, in the story? I'm pretty sure scouts. Yeah. So when Butch Jones is talking up Josh Dobbs, I'm sure scouts and GMs did not take that into consideration at all. They're like, oh, he's just a liar. And so I think that hurt him long-term too.
Rocky Top Tom playing the game right. We appreciate that. He says,
no, it's post 98.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's playing it righter than completely wrong. Okay. My most beloved non-98 Vol is Hank Laracella. No, it's
does Rocky Top Tom believe the 21st century exists?
No. So here we go. This is your 5. We're going to leave you with Tommy Johnson says Eric Berry, Josh Dobbs, Alvin Kamara, Jawan Jennings, A.J. Johnson. Is that the top 5 off the top of your head? Because I might just write that for tomorrow.
I'd sub out Kamara for John Henderson. And I think we're forgetting John Henderson. in so many ways. He is in a tier with Eric Berry and Steve DeLong, a two-time All-American who won the Outland. So I would just, and he came back for his senior year. And I love Alvin Kamara. But Alvin Kamara's had some off-field antics that make me not like him as much. Okay, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't start fights with people in elevators in Las Vegas. That's just that's not okay to me.
Fair enough.